Soul family. What happens when you start becoming someone your old life doesn't recognize anymore, and the people you love don't know how to meet you there? Let's get into it. Blessings and abundance. I'm your host, Zen. Welcome back to the Zen Effect Show, a globally syndicated show. This is the space where we slow down just enough to make sense of the world around us and gather real insight for navigating life's highs, its hits, and everything in between. Because living fully in your effect means choosing life on your terms, in your alignment. Truth is that when you shift your soul, you begin to shape your world, and this space exists to support you in coming home to and anchoring your power. This is your hub for soul-rooted conversations with thought leaders across music, entertainment, entrepreneurship, and wellness. To activate something deeper within you, to empower you. This show is going to inspire you, and this show is going to guide you back home to yourself. You can listen live right here on WBNC Breaking Chains Radio every Tuesday at 6 p.m. Eastern, and to run this episode back and to also replay previous episodes, you can catch the in-studio interviews on my YouTube channel and the audios on Spotify and Apple Podcast. Now, let's flow into the conversation. So family, before we get into tonight's conversation, I want to acknowledge something heavy. Many of you may have heard about the tragic case involving Justin Fairfax, where he took the life of his wife and then his own amid divorce proceedings. And anytime something like this happens, you all, it's not just news. No, it's a reminder. It's a reminder. Let's stay here for a moment, because when we hear about situations like this, it's easy to distance ourselves and say, that's extreme. That would never happen in my life. But I want to bring this closer. I want us to dial into this for a minute, not to create fear, but to create awareness. And I'm giving a conscious take. Actually, it's more of a conscious call to this situation. Because most relationships, breakdowns don't happen overnight. They happen quietly. They tend to happen gradually in moments that don't seem significant. It looks like this: conversations that never happen. Your significant other, boyfriend, girlfriend, what have you, is saying, we'll talk about it later. Keep pushing it under the rug, pushing it to the side. Feelings that don't get expressed. Pressure that never gets released. And over time, what's unspoken, these unspoken conversations, they start to build. I want to talk about what that actually looks like. It looks like, I don't want to bring this up right now. Like I said before, I'll deal with it later. I don't want to start an argument. They should already know how I feel. And so instead of communicating, people begin to internalize, they begin to suppress, carry, and eventually that weight has to go somewhere, because that's how energy works. Energy is meant to be moved. When there is energy and everything is energy and energy is everything, it has to go somewhere. That is science. That is the way that it works. So sometimes it shows up as distance. There are times that it shows up as frustration, and sometimes it shows up as disconnection. Does this sound familiar to anyone? And in more severe cases, unfortunately, it shows up as emotional overwhelm that people do not know how to process, because we're not taught emotional regulation. We're not taught emotional intelligence. We're not taught how to manage our emotions. It is something that it is our responsibility to learn that as adults. And not even just as adults, as young adults, teenagers, because we're able to start comprehending these things. And I say teenagers because, in my opinion, it's necessary to start, because your mind has developed to a certain point. At that age, you are having different experiences. There's a lot of new things because there's puberty and what have you. So to me, that's a great time to start. That's a great time to start. I've seen it done. I've seen it done by young people where they'll end up making a mistake or what have you, and they start to delve into maturity because they start realizing, I don't want my life to continue to go the direction that it's going. And then they make that shift once they have developed more maturity and they're able to see more clearly. Communication is so important, you all, in a relationship. It's not just about talking. Communication is about the emotional release. It's about feeling seen, heard, and understood. It's about creating space for truth, the truth, not your truth or my truth, the absolute truth that cannot be argued with, that cannot be skewed. It allows for truth to exist safely. Research consistently shows that communication issues are actually one of the leading contributors to relationship breakdown. That happens over time, that happens gradually, and that happens quietly. Organizations like the American Psychological Association have found that a significant percentage of divorces, often cited around 60 to 70%, involve communication as a core issue. 60 to 70%, that is more than half. And when you really think about that, when you really dial in to that fact, that's not about people not loving one another. It's about people not knowing how to reach each other anymore. Have you ever experienced that? It's such a strong, energetic feeling when you're having a conversation with the one that you love in romantic relationship, and you're not able to reach them, or vice versa. They're not able to reach you anymore. And that realization really pauses in time. And it's a moment of reflection. And often the question that comes from it is, what happened to us? What's going on? We weren't always like this. Frustration and additional emotions can build up around it. That's why it is so key and it is so necessary to communicate everything. Everything in your relationship is supposed to stay within your bubble. You and your person. It's supposed to stay there. It's not supposed to go out to your mom. It's not supposed to go out to your family. It's not supposed to go out to your home girls, your girlfriends. It's not supposed to go out to your homies, your guys, the bros. It's supposed to stay between you. And what I mean by that is, you are not supposed to just give all the details. Keep people out your business and mind your business. Have one confidant. I would suggest a professional that you can open up to when guidance is necessary. And you can also receive guidance from your loved ones and your friends, your sisters, your brothers, what have you, but you must be mindful on how you position it. This is a call for men to check in with yours. Women, check in with yours. And not surface level check-in conversations, but real ones. Asking, how are you really? What's been weighing on you? Where are we honestly? Because what we're seeing more and more and more of is what happens when emotions go unspoken, when pressure builds, and when people don't feel seen, heard, understood, and perhaps alone in their relationship. Now, I want to be clear here. Not every situation escalates to tragedy. However, many relationships do break down quietly over time. And one of the leading reasons, again, is communication. This rise in separation and in divorce is happening because people are assessing their relationships. And most importantly, they're assessing themselves. It doesn't mean that the relationship is failing. It's actually showing the both of you that something deeper is happening. We are currently, you all, in a major shift. Individually, collectively, emotionally, and spiritually, people are becoming more aware by the day. More honest. People are becoming more aligned with who they truly are. And when that happens, relationships are impacted. Look at the year we're in. We are in 2026. We are not far away from entering an entire new decade. Think about the decades of your life. There's always a major shift. There's always a major change. That's exactly what we are in the energy of. We are in the energy of major changes, and we are in the energy that is calling us forward and offering us to understand one another's experience. Women understand the male experience more, and men to understand the female experience more. How do you do that? By being in inquiry about it. That's how you do it. Be curious. Get curious about your person. You can get even more curious so you can fully understand them. Well, Zen, I know them. I done been with them for 20 years. Well, guess what? They are a different person now than they were 20 years ago. I guarantee it. You are a different person now than you were 20 years ago. I guarantee that too. Which brings us to tonight's conversation. Outgrowing versions of yourself that once felt like home. And the loneliness that can come with becoming someone your old life does not recognize. Because growth, as beautiful, as transformative, as impactful as it is, can also feel very isolating. Because not everyone and not everything around you is evolving. So it can feel immensely isolating. As I'm speaking on this, I'm thinking of an experience that I had when I really decided it is time to make some major shifts in my life. In my life. And as I started to do that, the conversations that were piquing my interest, the curiosity of the knowledge that I was gaining at that time is what I desired to talk about. And the people around me didn't want to talk about it. I can also think of situations where I've had conversations with my female friends or just talking amongst women, and they start generalizing men. And I'm not able to be in that same mind frame with them because I have evolved from that. So there was a period of time where it was more difficult for me to really locate a great group of female friends. Because what they were speaking, I had no interest in. There was a time I did. And guess what? We were just cheering on one another's narratives. And that's not supportive. What is a friend group if it's not growing you? What is a friend group if it's not stretching you? What is a friend group if they're not seeing some of the blind spots? Now, I'm not putting this all on them, but a true friend is not a yes person. A true friend, someone who truly loves and cares about you, because it can also be siblings, it can also be family, is going to keep it 100 and keep it real, whether you like it or not. whether you like it or not. So you may be asking me, Zen, what do I do during the isolating moments? You let go, so therefore, those that are in alignment can come in. Let me say that one more time. You let go, so therefore, those who are in alignment, opportunities that are in alignment, all those things that you want and desire, it cannot come in the same space that you are currently dwelling in. It's necessary, and I've said this before, to move things completely out the space, get out the way, move it out the way fully, to where you're not able to touch it. Don't keep it close to you, because if you keep it close to you, then be honest with yourself. You're just not ready yet, and be with the why of that. And what is it going to actually take to get there? Again, it can feel isolating, but it's not going to be that way forever. The truth is that growth changes your awareness. You start thinking differently. You start responding differently. You start wanting different things for your life, and maybe even wanting different things for your partner. But you definitely see different things for what you've built collectively. And suddenly the same spaces, they don't feel the same anymore. Because you're different. And I want to speak to the part of this that most people are not talking enough about. The truth is, growth can feel lonely because you evolve. We just discussed that. You may also realize that you don't engage in the same conversations anymore. I know I surely do not. You don't find comfort in the same dynamics anymore. You don't relate to the same patterns anymore. And sometimes the people who knew you before your growth, come on somebody, don't fully recognize who you're becoming. And it's not because they don't care, but because they're still relating to an older version of you. The truth is that change can be difficult for some people. They don't like the shifts. They feel very uneasy around that word called change. And this is why the conversations that we've been having on this show, they matter. Go ahead and invite someone to this show right now. If the Zen Effect Show has touched you, inspired reflection, or simply made you feel seen, there are ways you can help this community grow. Share an episode with someone who needs it. Leave a review wherever you listen, and visit www.thezeneffectco.com to connect deeper, access resources, and be a part of our journey. If you're a brand, creator, or company that believes attention is rented but trust is earned, This is your invitation. We don't just advertise, we align. We partner with vision-led brands who want to be a part of meaningful conversations, to be remembered for what they stand for, not just what they sell. Through thoughtful collaborations, story-driven features, and real-world experiences, your message becomes part of something bigger, a community that's conscious, engaged, and global. Whether you're launching a product, hosting an event, or building something meaningful, we're here to spotlight it in a way that feels real, resonant, and human. Join us. Support the show. Partner with purpose. Visit my website, www.thezeneffectco.com. Let's grow together and let your message live longer than the moment it's heard. Let's talk about what it really means to outgrow a version of yourself. Each of us has experienced a time in our lives where certain habits felt normal, certain environments felt so comfortable, certain relationships felt aligned. And more than likely, you may have felt that you were going to have those same relationships forever. You didn't see an ending to those relationships. Those environments were so comfortable that you didn't see change even coming your way in relation to it because they matched who you were at that time. But growth changes your awareness. You start thinking differently. You start responding differently. You start wanting different things for yourself. And all of a sudden, those same spaces do not feel the same anymore. There is a shift. Not because they're wrong, not because of anything in a negative connotation. No. It's because you are evolving. You are different. And here's the part that I just feel people don't talk about enough. Growth can feel lonely sometimes because you are evolving. I think of it like this. A vision comes to me of a garden, a field. It could be a garden or just an open field. And I see a tree in the midst of the grass. The tree's growth outpaces the growth of grass. Have you realized that? Grass can only grow but so much. It can only grow but so much. People can grow and go and grow as far as they want to. It's people who get in their own way and cap themselves. But if you are the tree and you are growing at rapid speed, you're not vibrating in the same frequency as the grass is because you're evolving. And you may realize during this time that you don't engage in the same conversations anymore. You don't find comfort in those same dynamics anymore. You don't relate to the same patterns anymore. And sometimes the people who knew you before your growth, they do not fully recognize who you are becoming. And it's not because they don't care. It's because they're still relating to an older version of you. For some people, change is very difficult, especially when they're in comfort, especially when they're comfortable with how the relationship dynamic is or where they're at. I've been hearing from certain individuals who are getting divorces literally say this came out of nowhere. It never not comes out of nowhere. That just doesn't happen that way. It starts gradually and starts quietly. Now It may be a surprise to you because that individual was not communicating, but more than likely you were feeling something. And you may have inquired about it with your person. And maybe they didn't meet you halfway, or maybe they did. This reminds me of certain situations that I have experienced when it comes to friend groups. My friend groups have evolved, and I remember the moment when it came to my awareness how necessary it was for my friend groups to evolve, especially when it comes to my female friends. Because there was a time, and it still happens from time to time, not with just with individuals that I'm friends with, or conversations that women have where women start generalizing men, and that is just something that I have evolved from. I've evolved from that. I used to be there as to all men this, all men that, men are the problem, men are the issue. Now, there are things necessary for men to improve upon and adjust, but there are also things necessary for us to do the same. And I am just not able to be in those type of conversations because I'm not there anymore. And because I'm not there anymore, and because my reality is showing me otherwise, when I speak from my perspective, from where I'm at now, it just falls on deaf ears. It just falls on deaf ears. So something that I have started doing is being an inquiry, asking those females questions to support them in going deeper. Because the truth is this, as women, when women generalize men, and also when men generalize women, that keeps you where you're at. And 9 times out of 10, where you're at in your relationships, whether, more romantic relationships, you're not wanting to be there. There's something that's off in that energy, because that is what you're projecting. That is what you are drawing to yourself. It really just is that easy, and it's really just that simple. And I'm not wanting to come across that I'm just living in this bubble and living outside of reality. That's not the truth. But what we have to understand and realize, and what the world is calling us forward to do, is to evolve our mindset and to do a lot of reframing. Reframing, and as I stated before, many individuals are really coming into themselves. So the process has been happening, but there are layers to reframing. You got to think about it. You did not just change and evolve overnight. There are many things tied to that. And what I mean by that is there are different aspects of yourself, of who you are, and it is necessary to literally sit and be with each and every one of them and have a conversation. And guess what? They are going to appear until you are no longer on this earth. That is something that doesn't stop. The quietness of that does not stop, especially if you are an individual who is wanting and prioritizes living in your highest potential, in the best version of yourself in all areas and all aspects. And this is why the conversations that we've been having here on this show matter. If you have not already listened to episode 185, the title of that is Capacity Matching, the love you want versus the capacity you hold. And episode 186, and that title of that episode is When Capacity Changes, Why Some Relationships Feel Different Now. Go ahead and tune into those. And if you heard them here live on WBNC radio, then replay it. You can visit my app, go to Apple Podcasts, just search the Zen Effect Show. You can even type in those titles, go to Spotify, or go to YouTube. These two episodes explain how relationships are not just about love. They are about capacity and how important matching capacity is. Because when your capacity expands, your relationships either grow with you and align or they don't. And you feel that distance beginning to happen. And this is the importance of capacity. I'm just going to touch on it momentarily here. When it comes to capacity, when you are with someone that matches your capacity, they are evolving too. Do you see what I'm saying? When you meet someone who is not meeting your capacity, they're in stagnant energy and you are growing, it will not work. No matter what, it will not work. Because again, the grass and the tree. You will always be growing faster and outpacing. It's not a race. It's not a race at all. But you are outpacing their growth. But if a tree meets a tree, come on, somebody. If a tree meets a tree, the trees are rooted. Come on. The trees are grounded. The tree's mindsets, come on, somebody, meets capacity. The tree's emotional intelligence meets capacity. The tree's emotional regulations meet capacity. They know how to communicate because in the daily aspects of their lives with what they have going on for themselves, communication is key. So they understand that. They also, as trees, know how to take ownership and so on and so forth. Do y'all pick up what I'm putting down? There's a concept in philosophy tied to identity development. The idea that as individuals grow, their sense of self evolves over time. In fact, research from Harvard University and developmental psychology studies show that identity is not fixed. It's not fixed. It actually changes through experience, reflection, and intentional growth. Let's pause there for a moment. Who you were 20 years ago, your person, your partner, your significant other, boyfriend, girlfriend, what have you, your romantic relationship individual that you are with, 20 years ago, you were both different people. You have had many experiences in those 20 years, and in those experiences alone, you have both evolved in your own way. Clock it. That is why communication is key, because your experience within an experience is going to be different than their experience. Y'all may feel similar about a certain situation, but you're having two different experiences. And when identity shifts, relationships must adapt, because relationships are built on who people were at the time that they formed the relationship, which again, a tree meets a tree. A tree's not able to meet grass. Matching capacity matters. So when you change, when you evolve, the relationship dynamic will change too. It's inevitable. There's no way around it. That is why meeting capacity, again, I'm not able to speak any clearer on this so you can pick it up. That's why meeting capacity is key. That is why. And when you match capacity, it supports you and strengthens your ability to gauge the trajectory of your relationship and of your journey together. In 2026, we are seeing more people prioritize the following: their mental health, their emotional intelligence, what's an alignment for them and what is not, and their purpose. People are asking deeper questions such as, does this relationship support who I'm becoming? Can we grow together? Is this healthy? What version of myself was I then? What aspects of myself were very alive then in relation to who I am now? And because of this, some relationships are actually strengthening. Not everybody's separating. Not everybody's divorcing. It's just because the economy and the society that we live in, we tend to project the negative side, not the beautiful side, not the total scope of reality. People are re-evaluating not only themselves, but not only, their romantic relationships, but everything. Their jobs, their living, their lifestyle, their friends, everything to the most smallest, minute detail. I want you to ask yourself, where have I outgrown a version of myself? Where in my life do things feel different? That I haven't fully acknowledged it yet. Am I allowing my relationships to evolve me? Or am I holding on to dynamics that no longer align with who I am becoming? Come on, somebody. And here's a powerful one. Am I communicating my growth to the people in my life? Oh my gosh, I wish I had a pen that I could drop right now. Drop the mic seriously. Are you communicating this? Or are you just in your growth and you're not communicating? See, that's where misunderstandings and miscommunications take place. That's where assumptions take place. It's important for you to communicate, period, with everybody that you value in your life. Communicate. I just had an experience. Look, I'm going to be real with y'all. The economy is economying. Okay. I don't know if economying is a word, but it's going to be one today. There are a lot of people out here, including myself, who have multiple careers. Many people do. And instead of ducking and diving and dodging and this, that, and the third, be honest. Well, Zen, if I'm honest with my job, I may lose my job. It's not what you say, it's how you say it. And look, we're clearly in an economy right now where it's necessary, because at the end of the day, the beginning of the day, and in the middle of the day, you must take care of yourself. As long as your responsibilities are getting met and you're still showing up, that's what matters. That's what matters. But it's very important to be honest always. Now, you don't have to divulge every single detail and every single aspect. But let's face it, we all have families to take care of. Whether you are a mother, a father, and you're taking care of your immediate family, or you don't have kids, and you have those who are on fixed income in your family that it's necessary for you to step in and support, whatever the case may be. We are in an economy and we are in a time where we all need somebody to lean on. So how do we navigate all of this that I'm discussing? First, what I just stated, communicate your evolution. Don't assume people understand your growth. They get it. They know what's going on. Express it. Just express it. Second, create space for others to grow. Not everyone evolves at the same pace. We just talked about this, the tree and the grass. And I want to be clear. As long as the people around you are evolving, that's important. You still may be outpacing them, but they're still evolving. It's the stagnant energy that's, you got to be aware of that. And what is not equally yoked and what is not aligned with you. Come on, somebody. When we talk about the scriptures, it's all up in the scriptures about being unequally yoked. That's what it means. That's what it means. Those who are not in alignment with you, they're just not in alignment. Those who, and I'm speaking on my personal experience in the past of people who did not value in the same way what I valued. People who may look at you some type of way because they have a story and they have a narrative. Now, one, be with yourself and make sure that there is not some truth to that. But if there is not truth to that, because people are often in stories and narratives, we're all great storytellers, we're all great writers, we're all great actors and actresses. Human behavior. Human behavior. But if someone has a narrative and a story wrapped up all around you that's not even true, it's time to reevaluate that. That's not somebody that you want in your sphere. What's in alignment with you? It's okay to change. It's okay to come out of this job because it's not in alignment with you. Just because you're making the money, but it's still not in alignment. You're not crazy. It's okay to come out of the relationship, whether it's a love relationship, friendship, because it's not in alignment with you. It's okay. We live decades upon decades upon decades. Why in the world would you want to remain stuck because you're not comfortable? When something is not in alignment with you, you are not comfortable. Stop it. Stop lying to yourself. Stop being dishonest with yourself. I've been there. And you're causing yourself more agony. And you're causing the energy to be stuck, stagnant, and not move. You are doing it. When you shift, everything else shifts. When you align, everything else aligns. Release the guilt. Evolving doesn't make you disloyal. It makes you human. It's a part of having this human experience. And fourth, stay grounded in who you're becoming. Embody it. Embody it. Newsflash, truth is, the more that you embody it, the more doors will open for you. The more that you embody it, the more doors will open for you. The more will come in. Growth requires courage, you all. Growth requires bravery. Here's the truth. You are not meant to stay the same, and neither are your relationships. Some will grow with you and some will shift. Some may fall away, but all of it is a part of becoming. I recently had an experience, and emotions may come up for me. In the space that I am in media, I meet so many people. And oftentimes I meet people who have really been such an inspiration on my journey. And, and these are people who these are the individuals who truly have impacted massive amounts of individuals. Sometimes, not with everybody, but sometimes you get close to those individuals. And depending on your relationship with them, whether you got close as friends, you worked for them, whatever the case may be, they knew a version of you then. And sometimes even with those individuals, depending where they are, your evolution, right? They're evolving, you're evolving, but it may be a fork in the road to where they're even no longer in alignment with you. And that's difficult because whatever they provided to the world really supported you in those times, in those moments, and in growing through it. And I'm experiencing that currently. It's not comfortable and there's grief there. But what I was reminded of from the love of my life is that the letting go allows the coming in. The letting go allows the coming in. I must look at it in that way. Just like when a loved one passes away, I look at it as they're in the spiritual world, the spiritual realm now, and there's more that they can do up there for those that they love than here on this earth. It's a mind reframing to support you in what the truth actually is, instead of defaulting to, I've lost something. You've evolved. You've evolved. And when I speak about evolving, I'm not speaking to it in terms of entitlement. Evolving has nothing to do with entitlement. Evolving has nothing to do with you thinking that you're better than others, because you're not. Truth is, we're all our experiences are literally just a fraction away from another person's experience. We're really not that different. I've always been curious to really go into the brains of multiple people, just scientifically, including my own, and just really see how thoughts and emotions come in and out. Because like Maya Angelou said, we are more alike, my friends, than we are different. Now, I may be paraphrasing, that may not be the exact statement, but that's the concept basically. We are more alike than we are different. So if you've been feeling that quiet distance, that shift in conversations, that sense that something in your life no longer fits the way it used to, something feels off, maybe you can pinpoint it, maybe you're not able to right now. However, when you communicate with that person, it will provide the necessary clarity. Don't rush to label it as a loss, because it actually may be growth. And growth doesn't always feel like expansion at first. Sometimes it feels like letting go. Sometimes it feels like standing in between who you used to be and who you are becoming. And that space, it may be lonely. It may feel lonely in the moment, but it won't always be. But it's also sacred, because it's where you meet yourself again. It's coming home to your power. I note the obvious differences in the human family. Some of us are serious. Some thrive on comedy. Some declare their lives are lived as true. Some declare their lives are lived as true profundity, and others claim they really live the real reality. The variety of our skin tones can confuse, bemuse delight. Brown and pink and beige and purple, tan, blue, and white. I've sailed upon the 7 seas and stopped in every land. I've seen the wonders of the world, not yet one common man. I know 10,000 women called Jane and Mary Jane, but I've not seen any two who really were the same. Mirror twins are different, although their features jibe, and lovers think quite different thoughts while lying side by side. We love and lose in China, we weep on England's moons, and laugh and moan in Guinea and thrive on Spanish shores. We seek success in Finland, are born and die in Maine. In minor ways we differ, in major we're the same. I note the obvious differences between each sort and type, but we are more alike, my friends, than we are unalike. We are more alike, my friends, than we are unalike. We are more alike, my friends, than we are unalike. By Maya Angelou, The Human Family. Take what resonated with you today and carry it into your week and let it activate something real within you. Go to my YouTube channel, subscribe now, and share this with someone. Because this message is not just for you, it's for those around you. It's these messages that are so necessary and that are so important, you all, to support our collective evolution. You want a world that moves differently? Let's get more of these messages out than the negativity that's out there. Let's incorporate these messages in our awareness of politics and all the other things. And if you're ready to spotlight your brand right here on the Zen Effect Show, visit my website, thezeneffectco.com, or email me, thezeneffectco@gmail.com. Follow me on Facebook, follow me on Instagram. I'm your host, Zen Howard, and this is the Zen Effect Show. Remember to let your effects speak before words actually do. Always remember to keep your soul hydrated and your spirit fortified. And until next Tuesday at 6 p.m. Eastern, remember we're played all over the nation of the United States of America, and we're also globally syndicated. So use 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time as a reference so you can tune in and stay elevated. So excited to get back to the interviews next week. I'm about to be in the studio doing some taping. So excited. Have a blessed one and an abundant one. And again, stay elevated.